begins to fill up with water and to be in danger. Luke 8:23. Still, Jesus remains asleep. The seamen work frantically to steer the boat, drawing on their past experience at maneuvering through storms. But this time is different. Fearing for their lives, they wake Jesus up and exclaim, "Lord, save us, we are about to perish." Matthew 8:25. The disciples are now afraid that they are going to drown. When Jesus wakes up, he says to the apostles, "Why are you so afraid, you with little faith?" Matthew 8:26. Then Jesus commands the wind and the sea, "Hush! Be quiet." Mark 4:39. The raging wind stops and the sea becomes calm. Mark and Luke tell of this impressive episode, first emphasizing that Jesus miraculously calms the storm, and then they mention the disciples' lack of faith. Imagine the effect this has on the disciples. They have just seen the sea go from a raging storm to complete calm. An unusual fear grips them. They say to one another, "Who really is this? Even the wind and the sea obey him." And they come to the other side of the sea safely. Mark 4:41. 5. 1. Perhaps the other boats that put to sea have been able to return to the western shore. How reassuring it is to know that God's Son has power over the elements. When his full attention is directed toward our earth during his kingdom rule, all people will dwell in security, for there will be no terrifying natural calamities. Jesus calms a storm on the Sea of Galilee. What natural features may contribute to the violent storm that occurs on the Sea of Galilee? In desperation, what do the disciples do? Why can we be reassured by this event? 44:113. As the disciples return to shore after their harrowing ordeal at sea, they experience quite a shock. Two very fierce men, both demon-possessed, come out from a nearby cemetery and run toward Jesus. One of the men becomes the focus of attention, possibly being more violent and having been controlled longer by the demons. This pitiful man has been going about naked. Night and day, he is crying out in the tombs and in the mountains and slashing himself with stones. Mark 5:5. He is so wild that people are afraid to pass along that stretch of road. Some have tried to bind him, but he tears the chains apart and breaks the fetters off his feet. Nobody has the strength to subdue him. As the man approaches Jesus and falls at his feet, the demons controlling him make him scream, "What have I to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I put you under oath by God not to torment me." Jesus shows that he has authority over the demons, commanding, "Come out of the man, you unclean spirit." Mark 5:7-8. In reality, many demons are possessing the man. When Jesus asks, "What is your name?" the reply is, "My name is Legion, because there are many of us." Mark 5:9. A Roman legion is made up of thousands of soldiers. Hence, many demons are ganging up on this man, reveling in his sufferings. They beg Jesus not to order them to go away into the abyss. They apparently realize what is ahead for both them and their leader, Satan. Luke 8:31. Grazing nearby is a herd of about 2,000 swine, animals that are unclean according to the law and that Jews should not even own. The demons say, "Send us into the swine, so that we may enter into them." Mark 5:12. Jesus tells them to go, and they enter the swine. At that, all 2,000 of them stampede over the cliff and drown in the sea below. Power over many demons. Matthew 8:28-34. Mark 5:1-20. Luke 8:26-39. When those taking care of the swine see this, they rush to report the news in the city and in the countryside. The people come out to see what has happened. As they arrive, they observe that the man from whom the demons came out is now well and acting sanely. Why, he is clothed and sitting at Jesus' feet. People who hear of this or see the man are gripped with fear, not understanding what this may mean for them. They urge Jesus to leave their territory. While Jesus is boarding the boat to leave, the formerly demonized man begs him to let him come along. But Jesus tells the man, "Go home to your relatives, and report to them all the things Jehovah has done for you and the mercy he has shown you." Mark 19. Jesus usually instructs those whom he heals not to tell anyone because he does not want people to reach conclusions about him on the basis of sensational reports. In this case, the formerly demonized man is living proof of Jesus' power and can witness to people whom Jesus may not reach personally. His testimony may also counteract any unfavorable report about the loss of the swine. So the man goes and starts proclaiming throughout the Decapolis what Jesus did for him. Expels demons into swine. Why is attention focused on one of the two demon-possessed men? What do the demons know about their own future? For what reasons does Jesus have the formerly demonized man tell others about what Jesus did? 45, 115. News of Jesus' return from the Decapolis spreads among Jews living on the northwest shore of the Sea of Galilee. Likely many have heard that during the recent storm, Jesus calmed the wind and the waters, and some may know that he cured the demon-possessed men. Hence, a large crowd gathered by the sea, likely in the area of Capernaum, to welcome Jesus back. Mark 5. 21. As he steps ashore, they are eager and expectant. One of those anxious to see Jesus is Jairus, a presiding officer of the synagogue, perhaps the one in Capernaum. He falls at Jesus' feet and begs again and again. "My little daughter is extremely ill. Please come and put your hands on her so that she may get well and live." Mark 5. 23. How will Jesus respond to Jairus' fervent plea to help his only daughter, who is just 12 years old and very precious to him? Luke 8. 42. On his way to Jairus' house, Jesus is confronted with another emotion-filled situation. Many of the people accompanying Jesus are excited, wondering whether they will be able to see him perform another miracle. However, one woman in the crowd is focused on her own severe health problem. For 12 long years, this Jewish woman has been suffering from a flow of blood. She has sought help from one doctor after another, using up all her money on treatments they have recommended. But she has not been helped. In fact, her problem has become worse. Mark 5. 26. You can likely appreciate that her ailment, besides weakening her, is embarrassing and humiliating. One generally does not speak openly about such a condition. Moreover, under the Mosaic law, a discharge of blood makes a woman ceremonially unclean. Anyone touching her or her blood-stained garments needs to wash and is unclean until the evening. Leviticus 15. 25-27. This woman has heard the reports about Jesus, and she now seeks him out. Because of her uncleanness, she makes her way through the crowd as inconspicuously as possible, saying to herself, "If I touch just his outer garments, I will get well." When she does touch the fringe of his garment, she immediately senses that her flow of blood has stopped. She has been healed of the grievous sickness. Mark 5. 27-29. Jesus then says, "Who touched me?" How do you think the woman feels at hearing those words? Peter protests with an implied reproof of Jesus. The crowds are hemming you in and pressing against you. So why did Jesus ask, "Who touched me?" Jesus explains, "Someone touched me, for I know that power went out of me." Luke 8. 45, 46. Yes, the healing that occurred has drawn on Jesus' vitality. Realizing that she has not escaped notice, the woman falls down before Jesus, frightened and trembling. In front of all, she tells the truth about her illness and that she has just been cured. Jesus kindly comforts her. "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace, and be healed from your grievous sickness." Mark 5. 34. Clearly, the one whom God has chosen to rule the earth is a warm, compassionate person who not only cares for people, but also has the power to help them. Healed by touching Jesus' garment. Matthew 9. 18-22. Mark 5. 21-34. Luke 8. 40-48. 116. The woman is healed by touching Jesus' garment. Why do the people gather to greet Jesus as he returns to the area of Capernaum? What problem does one woman have, and why is she seeking help from Jesus? How is the woman healed, and what comfort does Jesus give her? 46, 117. Jairus sees that the woman with the flow of blood was healed by Jesus. Surely, Jesus can help his daughter too, though he feels that by now his daughter must be dead. Matthew 9:18. Could it be that she can still be helped? While Jesus is still speaking with the woman he has healed, some men arrive from Jairus' home and tell him, "Your daughter died." They add, "Why bother the teacher any longer?" Mark 5:35. What devastating news! This man, so highly respected in the community, is now completely helpless. His only daughter has died. Jesus, however, overhears the report, and turning to Jairus, he says encouragingly, "Have no fear, only exercise faith." Mark 5:36. Jesus then accompanies Jairus back to his home. On arriving, they find a great commotion. Those who have gathered there are weeping, wailing, and beating themselves in grief. Jesus steps inside and makes the startling statement, "The child has not died but is sleeping." Mark 5:39. On hearing this, the people laugh at Jesus. They know that the girl really is dead. Yet, using his God-given powers, Jesus will show that it is possible for people to be brought back from death just as they can be awakened from a deep sleep. Jesus now sends everyone outside except for Peter, James, John, and the dead girl's parents. Jesus takes these 5 with him and goes to where the girl is lying. Taking her by the hand, he says, "Tali middle dot the kumi," which, when translated, means, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Mark 5:41. Immediately, she rises and begins walking. Imagine the ecstasy that Jairus and his wife feel on seeing this. Providing further evidence that the girl really is alive, Jesus directs that she be given something to eat. On earlier occasions, Jesus ordered those whom he healed not to publicize what he had done for them, and he does so again with these parents. Nevertheless, the delighted parents and others spread the news into all that region. Matthew 9:26. Would you not talk about it excitedly if you had seen one of your loved ones raised from the dead? This is the second recorded resurrection Jesus performs. A young girl lives again. Matthew 9:18, 23-26. Mark 5:22-24, 35-43. Luke 8:40-42, 49-56. What report does Jairus receive, and how does Jesus encourage him? When Jesus and Jairus arrive at the home, what is the situation there? Why does Jesus say that the dead child is only sleeping? 118. Jesus resurrects Jairus' daughter. 47. Performing miracles, but rejected even in Nazareth. Matthew 9:27-34. 13. 54-58. Mark 6:1-6. It has been a full day for Jesus. After a voyage from the region of the Decapolis, he healed the woman with the flow of blood and he resurrected Jairus' daughter. But the day is not over. As Jesus leaves Jairus' home, 2 blind men follow him, shouting, "Have mercy on us, Son of David." Matthew 9:27. By calling Jesus Son of David, these men express their belief that Jesus is heir to the throne of David and thus the Messiah. Jesus seems to ignore their cries, perhaps to see whether they will be persistent, and they are. When Jesus enters a house, the 2 men follow him inside. Jesus asks them, "Do you have faith that I can do this?" They answer confidently, "Yes, Lord." At that, Jesus touches their eyes and says, "According to your faith let it happen to you." Matthew 9:28-29. Suddenly they can see. As he has earlier instructed others, Jesus directs them not to publicize what he did. But filled with gladness, they later talk about him far and wide. As these 2 men are leaving, people bring in a man who cannot speak because he is demon-possessed. Jesus expels the demon, and instantly the man begins to talk. The crowds marvel at this, saying, "Never has anything like this been seen in Israel." Pharisees are also present. They cannot deny the miracles, so they repeat their charges to the source of Jesus' works. It is by the ruler of the demons that he expels the demons. Matthew 9:33-34. Shortly thereafter, Jesus heads back to his hometown.